Hello, everybody. Johnny Guns Investigation, Thursday. Happy Thanksgiving, November 23rd. And here we go. Hope you guys are having a great day, enjoying your Thanksgiving with family. I had a wonderful dinner, and now coming out with some stories going on right now in Idaho. Unbelievable how this has been going on for so many years and so many different things happening in this hearings going into the trials and this investigation, things going up and down, up and down. Richard Allen, the Delphi murders in Indiana. Very small town of 3,000 people. And we all know the story. We know that Richard Allen is the alleged murderer of the two girls, Abby, who was 13 years old at the time, and Libby, who was 14, who were murdered, brutally murdered by the alleged killer, Richard Allen. And again, we don't even know if it's Richard Allen. And that's what I want to talk today about. A lot of different things that are going on because now there's a new arrest, and we're going to talk about that. But just to sum everybody up of what's going on this case with Richard Allen, the two little girls were off from school one day and wanted to go to the park and just to enjoy a day, Libby and Abby together. In the Monho Park, the High Bridge. And it's a place where a lot of people go, beautiful scenery, just fun for them to have a day off together. Unfortunately, it didn't go that way. They ran into Richard Allen, the alleged killer, from what witnesses say. But there's been so many different witnesses with a different diagram and picture of this alleged killer. But anyway, Richard Allen is in jail for the murders of the two girls, who were brutally murdered in a horrific way of a ritualistic act of organism, cultural statistic cults, the way the bodies were laid out. And we all know that. It was a terrible thing. And then the last time that I spoke about this case, we talked about the pictures that were going to leak out. And I prayed that those pictures weren't going to get out, but they did. So the pictures did get out. And then there's another thing, not just the pictures being leaked out and who did it, how he did it, and why he did it, but also too of the ordism, that cult in this small town of 3,000. It's crazy on what's going on because as we spoke before, the prison guards are all involved in this ordism. They had the patches of the ordisms on their sleeves of their state issued uniforms. And we know all that. And then there were also words being said that Richard Allen is being abused and being told what to do in prison and being led like a puppet by the guards that are in this organization of ordism. And that he's being tortured and he's being abused and he's not being fed right and sleeping on the concrete floor. He's being monitored and watched on every conversation, not only with his mom, his wife and his attorneys, just a lot of things that are being said that are happening to him. And now, and again, I mean, did he do it, Richard Allen, or didn't he do it? This is all alleged. We don't know. I mean, is he being framed for this? Was he really the one who did all this? Because there was definitely more than one person at the crime scene and the murders of these two girls, the way they were brutally murdered, okay? So now in jail, we have another guy in there who's speaking out and letting everybody know that Richard Allen is being abused in this prison by these prison guards, and they are part of this cult. Now, who wants to believe? And again, I know people have different ways of thinking. Okay, so remember, this is my way of thinking. This is a child molester in the jail with Richard Allen who's speaking out and saying he's being abused by these prison guards. I mean, number one, would you take the word of a convicted child molester, offender over and over and over, hurting little girls? Hell no, because he's saying he's being abused too. Majorly, he's being abused. They broke his ankle, the prison guards, and they were refusing him help. They beat him up. They abuse him too. You think that's happening? I'm sure it is happening. I mean, you're a child molester. If I was in that jail, I'd probably walk by and punch you every day I saw you. But that's just me. But we're not talking about that. But are these guards? Now you got to remember, they're employed by the state. You do have to follow the rules. You have to follow the guard. You have to follow the guidelines, no matter what. Same way cops do. Sometimes they might have shot your partner in the field on a chase, but then here they could be saving that guy's life who just shot his partner. You see what I mean? These guards, these prison guards are trained and they have a job and a responsibility in the jail. And I know it's hard. And that's why I could never do it. I could never do it. And that's why I can't be a cop. I'd beat the shit out of you right there. So these guys are trained professionals that need to act that way. Unfortunately, the word is that the guards have not been doing that with Richard Allen since the day he's been in there. And the other question I always had on this case too is, why is Richard Allen in the state prison, not in jail? Because he's not convicted yet. So there's a lot of things that are shying off. But do we listen to this convicted child molester that he's being abused and Richard Allen is being abused? Who takes the word on that? Or we take it in consideration and we move on and we look at it. But everybody needs to be treated, unfortunately, professional in as far as the guards go in the prison. So I don't know if they're being abused or whatever's going on, but also too, the pictures that were leaked out by the defense team on this case, just a lot of things. I mean, the attorney's being fired, wanting to come back pro bono, just so many different things happening. We have the judge who's sick, who's being video recording the court from home. And, Andrew Baldwin, who was the attorney who was fired and then wants to come back pro bono. And then the other employee, which is Mitch Westerman. And this is the guy that was in the conference room. Okay. This is the guy here. Okay. Now they need to come down hard on him because, as I said in the show a few weeks ago, that I really do hope that nobody leaks those photos out. Well, this guy did. He leaked them out, and we had a feeling it was going to happen. We were just hoping it wasn't going to happen. So Mitch Westerman was in the conference room, left alone there for a few. Now, it's not like the pictures were laid out there for him. They were in a file. He had no reason of opening that file up and taking photographs on his cell phone of the crime scene, of the pictures of these two young girls, Libby and Abby, laying there completely unclothed in a position of the cultural statistic ways, the way the bodies were placed. He has these photographs that he let out. So he has been arrested, which is good. They should come down hard on him. There's no way he should have released those pictures. And we showed the video of these other YouTubers having them and going and turning it over to the cops and just wondering what was going to happen. Well, Mitch is the one who took the photographs of these two little girls' crime scene pictures that were in a confidential file in the conference room at the attorney's office. You got to remember, you got to rely on the trust and the confidence in the team that you have there working with you. As far as you being on the defense, the opposite opposing team, the jury, the judge, the whole community. This has been going on for a long time, guys. Since 2017, it's still going on. So now, did Richard Allen commit the murders? Is he an innocent man in jail, or is he where he needs to be? Is Richard Allen getting abused by the prison guards like this convicted child molester is telling everybody in a letter that he wrote, which we're going to see here in a clip that I have coming up from my favorite. and you'll see the video, and it's going to show everything. But the thing of it is, guys, did Richard Allen do this? Is he innocent? Is he being abused? And why did this Mitch Westerman do what he did? What did he think it was going to accomplish? Not only for him, but for the whole trial, the whole case, not only for the defense, but the prosecutors. What did he think he was doing by getting involved and taking it upon himself to open up those files, take the photographs, and put it out there? Number one, you're taking pictures of underage children and putting it out there. That's the first thing. Second thing is not good. Think of the family and the parents, guys. Should have never been released. Not in the hands of the public. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to watch this video, and then we'll talk some more. A lot of information in this.
You provide any comment?
Journalism. It's time for you guys to start being journalists.
That is Andrew Baldwin. He's the attorney for this man, the accused Delphi killer, Richard Allen. He's off the case. He doesn't want to be off the case. He wants to represent Richard Allen. Richard Allen wants him to represent him. And the judge says no, but now it's up in the Supreme Court of Indiana. This case is a mess, the Delphi murders. First of all, it went unsolved for 5 years. I believe, based upon the information they got almost immediately, it could have been solved very, very quickly. But somehow, some way, the left foot wasn't talking to the right foot, and there was no master list of the people that were actually there who looked like the guy in the video. Unbelievable. But now there's more developments. So Richard Allen, from the beginning, has been complaining about his treatment while incarcerated, waiting for his trial, saying he's been the victim of Odinist prison guards who have been threatening him and beating him, etc. And now he's got someone on his side writing letters on his behalf who says he's also being harmed by these prison guards. This is a fellow inmate. He's a child molester, convicted, serving 40 years. And he writes, I was housed in cell A2206, just above Richard Allen's cell A1107, due to being a voice on how Richard Allen was being mistreated by corrupt sergeants. Security cameras will show Sergeant Blank slamming to the floor and violently breaking my foot and ankle, and intimidating the nurse not to treat my injuries. Sergeant Blank and officers to hold me while Officer Blank violently punched me in the ribs and stomach while Officer Mr. Blank kneed me in the face. I was stripped. I was placed on strip cell, and my personal property was taken. When I eventually received my property back, my legal documents were either destroyed or lost or taken due to incriminating recorded dates and times. Some of those recorded dates and times concern how Richard M. Allen was being abused and mistreated by staff and officers. Again, I have witnessed Richard Allen being abused and mistreated. I, Robert Baston, ask this court to report this corruption to the proper authorities to investigate. Wow.
Something.
So you see where this is going. It's tough, though, when you have a convicted child molester, trying to speak up on your behalf.
Right.
Credibility issues all over the place.
Bounces out the door.
Matt Johnson, Court TV crime and justice correspondent, went back to the scene. Now that we have all this information that has come out through some of the papers that have been filed, because things have been sealed for years, Matt Johnson takes us back to the scene to retrace some of the steps so we get a better perspective on what happened and where Abby and Libby were and where the killer was the day of the murders.
We're here in Delphi, Indiana, a town of about 3,000 people. It is the town seat of Carroll County. And we're going to take you on the trail, on the Monon High Bridge Trail that Libby and Abby took in 2017 and how they made it to the bridge. That's not this bridge. This is Freedom Bridge, also mentioned in court documents. So where they started that day, that's a little bit up the road. Across from Mears Farms is what's called Mears Entrance, according to court documents. And it would have been the main entrance in 2017. This fence wouldn't have been here. This is where Kelsey said that she dropped off Libby and Abby on February 13th that year. She would have waved goodbye, said that she loved them. and then watch them walk past those trees. And once Libby and Abby cleared the trees, they had a choice to make. Right here in the center of the trail, they could choose to go right and go towards town, or they could choose to go left towards the bridge. They went left. This is also where 3 girls say that they ran into a man generally matching the suspect description. He was heading towards the bridge. They were heading the opposite direction towards town. You know, walking along the trail, you realize that there are a lot of places that someone could hide. Yes, it was a different season. This happened in February of 2017. So there wouldn't have been leaves on the trees, but there are a lot of trees, and it would have been very dense. According to court documents, at around 2 o'clock that same day, a witness said she saw a man on the bridge standing about 50 feet up, but he looked very different according to her account. Looked boyish, young, 20s, maybe 30s, no facial hair, and brown curly hair or poofy hair. And that's what led to the second sketch.
See, a lot of ups and downs. A lot of ups
So we're
and
at
downs.
about the halfway point of the Monon High Bridge here behind me in Delphi, Indiana. You can see I'm standing on a part that is rebuilt. Looks completely different than the area that leads over to private property. About this area right here, that's where that Snapchat photo was taken, where Libby takes a picture of her friend Abby. The 2 girls, they were heading down the bridge south over to private property, and that's where the abduction happened.
All right, take a look. We've got a deadline for the closed-door hearing transcript on November 27th. That's the hearing where the attorneys for Richard Allen say that they were persuaded to take themselves off the case and threatened, perhaps, by the judge. So that's a big, big hearing. The trial now has a brand new date. It was supposed to be in January. Now it is in October of 2024. But there's still, I think, a bit of a question of who is going to represent Richard Allen. He has new attorneys, but his former attorneys want in, and he wants his former attorneys in the case. Let's bring back in our think tank, Eklund Mercy, Bernarda Villalona, Eric Bland with us. Bernarda, let's start with the fact of this alleged abuse that is taking place inside the prison that Richard Allen alleges, and that this fellow inmate, because he's being held in a prison, not in a jail, in an actual prison. So in there is a convicted child molester who says, oh yeah, it was definitely happening. What are your thoughts about those allegations and what may or may not be happening to Richard Allen behind bars? And can we ever believe a convicted child molester?
No.
Well, it's going to be hard to prove that he is being assaulted inside of the jail. You got to think, first off, the majority of these jails, they have cameras inside of the jails. So where's the corroboration? Is there video evidence? Is there corroboration in the sense of, are there any physical injuries on top of this man? Is there anything that he reported when he went to medical? So aside from the word of a convicted child molester, it'll be very difficult for those claims to go anywhere.
Eklund Mercy, what do you think about the fact that Richard Allen had 2 attorneys, vigorous defense? The prosecutor makes a motion saying that they are incompetent counsel. They should be taken off the case. The judge agrees, and the judge persuades them and maybe threatens them, depending. We don't know what exactly happened there. Those are the allegations. And now they're off the case, but they want back on the case, and he wants them back on the case. Mm-hmm. I've never seen anything quite like this before.
Unreal.
It smells really bad. First of all, I can believe him getting abused. So because of the case and how high profile it is, one can assume that he wouldn't be placed in general population. So if you're not in general population, usually you are around child molesters, and the only people that you have access to are our correction officers. So if he's saying that corrections officers are abusing him, also they are the ones who have access to the videos and things of that nature. So because of the fact that you're kicking off attorneys, we have prosecutors who are asking for attorneys to be put off. I've never seen that. I've seen prosecutors, we fight with attorneys, or you tell the judge, to get their act straight, but to completely take them off, and all you have, like, it's weird to me. So because of all of it, the totality of the circumstances, and the fact that you have a defense attorney who was brought on the case pro bono fighting to get back, it smells really bad. And I think that we're going to see a lot during this hearing.
Eric, the thing that shocked me is that these aggressive defense attorneys alleged a level of conspiracy in setting up their client, and then they get kicked off the case. I mean, to me, that just adds fuel to the conspiracy of what's going on here.
Yeah, it is troubling. I certainly don't have empathy for a child molester, and I don't have empathy for a murderer of children. You know, we all grew up, Vinny, and I grew up in Philadelphia, New Jersey, and we used to leave the house at 9 in the morning and not come home until 6 o'clock at night.
That's right.
You know, today we don't live in a world where that can be done, and it's sad. But the fact of the matter is, someone is entitled to the counsel of their choice, but they need competent counsel. On a case like this, it's a premeditated murder case. You want competent counsel. And if these defense counsel are not in good faith and just launching firebombs and making bald, naked allegations that could taint the prosecution and give him an ineffective assistance of counsel claim, a judge may have the right to raise these issues, and that's going to have to play out in this hearing coming up on the 27th. I don't know the defense attorneys. They may be totally competent and have tremendous amount of experience, but for a judge to do this, there has to be more than just bombastic type of language that these defense attorneys were using.
Yeah, and I remember that famous case where the attorney fell asleep during the trial, and that conviction withstood appeal as well.
Okay, so here we go. All right, guys, let's talk about this one. Here we go. So this is something else. I mean, are the prison guards, are they abusing them? Are they beating them? Not feeding them properly, making them sleep on the concrete cold floor? Is that really happening? The pictures that were taken, why were they released? But there's a lot of things going on this case. Guys, it's a sad one, but let's talk about it. Let's chat. Johnny Gunn's Investigation. Hit the like, subscribe. Let's chat about this case. It's been going on for a while, and now with all this new evidence, all these things going on in the hearings before it could even get to trial, they took him out of jail. He is now in a state prison where he's been for over a while now, half of the year, and being mistreated is what he's saying. And then we have to go back and figure out, is he being framed on this murder of the two girls by this organism cult organization that is being controlled by the prison guards, the warden, and inside that prison? It was a well-known fact that these prison guards were in this organization together with the patches on their state-issued uniforms, wondering why that's even going on. And the different types of the witnesses that are coming out with the pictures of a young male that don't look nothing like Richard Allen. I mean, this is definitely flopping around, but there's a lot of evidence out there that does lead to Richard Allen being there at the park, being there with the girls, and being there at the murder scene. So it's a big thing to talk about. But the most important thing is now pictures are out, another arrest on the prosecutor's team of this Mitch Westerman, putting the pictures out there, the attorneys being fired, the judge not wanting them back, but Richard Allen wants his attorneys back, not the ones that are assigned to him now. He wants his old attorneys back. He wants Andrew Baldwin back on his team, and they're willing to come back and do a pro bono for Richard Allen. They'll do it for free. But what do you guys think? I mean, and here we have to go back again. It's a small town of 3,000 guys. It's always the small town where everybody says they can trust everybody. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody knows what's going on. They all knew Richard Allen. He worked at the local pharmacy as a pharmaceutical technician. Never had any problems. All the people liked him. He has no criminal background record at all. No child molestation charges, nothing like that. Is Richard Allen the murderer, alleged murderer, or not? Who is? Who's involved? Who helped him at the murder scene commit the murders, sexual assaults on the children? That's what we all have to go back to. Who suffered in all this? Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do. Libby and Abby suffered. Now we should be able to bring the closure to them. Not only to them, but the families, the parents, the community, and figure out what's going on with this cultural-like activity in this community, in the prison, with the local law enforcement prison guards. What are they involved in? Are they puppeting Richard Allen to do and say what they want him to do, to take the hit? What do you think, guys? Message me. Johnny Guns Investigates. Hit the like, subscribe. Let's talk about this one. Thanksgiving night, guys. Hope you enjoyed a beautiful day. Hope you didn't eat too much. If you did, make sure you get out there and exercise tomorrow. Burn it off. Eat it all over again. That's what I do. Eat what you want. Work it out. Keep yourself in shape. But guys, let's figure this one out. Let's talk about it. We have a long way to go to the trial. We have a hearing coming up because he's been wanting to get moved out of this prison and get put inside of a jail until the trial, and he's convicted because he's not convicted. And they have him locked up like he is convicted. And now let's go back real quick to this guy, the witness who wrote the letter about the prison guards abusing him and Richard Allen and other inmates. Okay, guys, you're in a prison. You're in every day with the worst of the worst of the worst. What do you think you're going to do? Are you going to go in there and play piddlywinks with these guys? Things are going to happen. Treat them the way you think you need to. That's my opinion. You're a child molester? Man, you're going to get treated pretty bad in prison. That's what you're going to get, and you know it. And you're lucky as hell that they keep you out of that major population, because if they put you guys in population, you're probably not going to make it back to your cell that night. So I'm sure they're being abused. I'm sure. Okay? But that's besides the point. The most important part is why the pictures were released. That's not good. That he needs to be put in jail. Seriously. Mitch Westerman, who put those pictures out of those two little girls in the worst way that anybody could imagine for the public, the parents, the family members, the communities to see, he should be put in jail for what he has done. Totally not right. So guys, Johnny Guns Investigation on Thanksgiving night, Thursday. We got November 23rd. It's a nice night. It's cool out here in Florida and all over the country. We have some Christmas weather coming. We're in the holidays. And guys, let's talk about this. Make sure you message me. Let's chat. Hit the like, subscribe. Johnny Guns Investigates coming to you guys. And always remember, be safe out there. Thank you guys for listening. Have a wonderful night. See you.